beautiful people, my name is Anna, if you're new here. I never make videos like this, so this is very uncomfortable and very weird for me to even talk about. But I want to tell you guys about something that happened. And this is my second time filming this video, and I just didn't upload it the first time. I was too scared to upload this the first time. I'm shooting this video again, and hopefully this time is less scattered and I sound more coherent and more cohesive and put together, because I want to just be able to convey this message to you guys, and hopefully it's out there and it's no longer troubling me after I make this video and I just get it out of my chest. I moved to Wisconsin a little under a month ago. It's gonna be a month on September 1st. About a week and a half ago, I had an experience with a police officer who was not the nicest person, and I was, at the moment, I was really scared to even talk about it. I didn't tell my significant other for 3-4 days. I wasn't talking about it right after it happened. I went on a walk by myself, had that encounter, came back home, and just swallowed everything that happened and lived with it by myself for 3 days until I was able to talk about it. So I wrote it down so that I don't make this video too long and I don't ramble, but I just want to tell you guys exactly what happened. I'll read to you guys exactly what I wrote down so that I don't leave any details out and I don't make this longer than it needs to be. I've been debating whether to talk about this or not, but it's made me so anxious and scared that I thought I'd share. As some of you know, I recently moved to the area from Florida. I am 22 years old, 100 pounds, not really a menacing figure, yet I was stopped by a cop on my walk 3 days ago. I wrote this 6 days ago, that's why the time frame is different. I was walking back home after going on a little jog, and a police officer pulled over behind me and indicated me to stop, so I did. I assumed there was some criminal loose in the neighborhood or something and he just wanted to warn me. Instead, he asked me what I was doing here. I explained I was just going on a walk and I was not returning home. He asked if I had an ID to prove that I lived here, and I didn't. My ID was at home and I only had my phone with me. But even if I had it, my ID still has my Florida address, so that would have been useless anyway. He wouldn't believe me I lived here, so I started getting really anxious and scared, since people who look like Hispanic and just not white in general face this type of discrimination all the time. He pointed out my accent and laughed. He said he was sure I was lying since people around here don't sound like me. Nervously, I asked if I could pull up my lease agreement on my phone and show him, and he still asked me how do I know the name in there is yours. I don't feel like anybody carries somebody else's lease agreement on their phone, but okay. I was about to offer him to follow me home so that I could show him my ID and he could meet my American significant other and maybe believe him, since my word is worth nothing to this man. I have lived in this country for over 8 years. I am now a legal American citizen. I feel like my level of English is above average for somebody who's been here for as long as I have. And I feel like people can understand me, even if they do realize there's an accent and they do realize I am not from here. I feel like my English is clear enough to be understood by others. Above all of that, I am human, and it pains me that I have to rely on my significant other to vouch for me when I have been in this country since I was 13. As this is happening, I am beginning to be visibly upset and uncomfortable, and this showed on my face. A neighbor drove by on that very second, and when seeing this scene on the side of the road, rolled down his window and asked if I was okay. The police officer instantly asked if he knew me, and after the neighbor confirmed I had just moved to the neighborhood, the police officer let me go. This is not acceptable, and I did nothing wrong to be stopped or questioned. I am not a threat to anybody, and I was so scared throughout the whole experience. Scared that I wouldn't get to come home to my family, scared that I moved to a city that isn't safe for me, scared that I can't go for a walk in my own neighborhood. If anyone in the area has experienced something similar, please let me know how you've dealt with it. Do I need to carry my American passport with me? What do I do? This was what I wrote down and ultimately posted to the app Nextdoor. That is an app designed to connect neighborhoods and communities and just have everybody help each other out on the app. When I posted this, I did not in a million years expect the reactions it had from people. This post is now at 222 comments from my neighbors and people that live around me. Most of those comments have been super supportive, which I so appreciate. It really means a lot when you move to a new state where you know nobody, you don't have any family here, in the middle of a world pandemic. For people to be supportive, it really does mean a lot. So if you're here from that post and you're one of my neighbors, hello and thank you. It really did mean a lot to read those comments and feel like I didn't make the dumbest decision moving here. I really appreciate that. If you're one of my neighbors and you're watching, thank you so much for that. But I'll tell you guys how the story developed. One of those hundreds of comments and messages that I got was from my city representative's husband. He reached out to me on Nextdoor. I guess somebody sent him the post or he stumbled upon it somehow, but he reached out to me and he asked me to please let his wife, the city representative, talk to me, and that she wanted to get to the bottom of this, see what could be done. And I spoke to her. Clearly this story creates a lot of questions for people. Did you get his badge number? Do you get a name? Was there somebody calling the police in your area, which is normally the reason why just random people walking on the street will get questioned? The answer to all of that, I'm gonna share it right here. I unfortunately was dumb, and I just didn't get a badge number and didn't get a name because I was just frozen in fear. I didn't even know if I was gonna get to come home that day. So I unfortunately wasn't smart enough to do that. I wasn't smart enough to film it either. Now looking at it in hindsight, I don't know what I was thinking. I do have rights, like this is not where I grew up. That moment just made me relive all the trauma from where I grew up. So definitely I just didn't realize to even question what was happening. I spoke to the city representative and I told her exactly that. I said, I would love to help you with whatever detail you need, but I don't think it's gonna be any use because I just didn't get a name and I didn't get a badge number, because I was just horrified of what was happening and I was really scared, and it's my first time dealing with a situation like this. So I didn't feel like it was of any use to even talk about it. I did remember that the card did not read police department, it read the name of my county. So I told her that, and that apparently seemed to change a lot of what was happening. I said that to her and she said that then with that information now, chances were that this card was from the sheriff's office, not the police department. She said that those people are actually a lot harsher to deal with because they work directly with ICE. So they're the most discriminatory group against Hispanics. So that's great. I was telling her, what do? Do I start carrying my passport with me? Because even if I have my ID on me, my ID says I'm a Florida resident, which that's gonna change soon, but it hasn't changed yet. Because a lot of my comments were like, oh, report this guy, give them a time frame so that they can find out who was patrolling your area during this time. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm after making this video or even telling this story. I want people to realize what it's like being Hispanic in Wisconsin in 2020. I want people to, if you're Hispanic, be careful. Start recording all your encounters with police. Always try to carry some sort of identification with you. Whatever other measure you can take that I am sure, very surely taking from now on. And if you're not Hispanic, to notice those things and stand up for them when you can. I am so thankful for that neighbor that could have been driving anywhere else and he drove by that exact spot at the exact moment I needed somebody there for me. So I really do appreciate that, and he didn't even need to roll down his window and ask if I was okay, but that really changed the course of my day that day. If you have a voice, if you have the privilege of not having to face things like that every day, use it for good. I hate feeling like this, but I feel like with everything that's going on, what happened to me wasn't even worth talking about because I wasn't physically abused, I wasn't wrongly arrested. That's why I didn't feel like I had the grounds to speak about this. But at the same time, I feel like I kind of have to with everything that's going on, and especially with what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, 2 hours away from my house. I'm not even gonna go into details, I'm sure you guys have seen it on the news, but I just felt like it's important for the rest of the country and the rest of the world to know what it's like to be a person of color in Wisconsin. This has nothing to do with my neighbors. This has nothing to do with the people I've encountered who have been lovely, wonderful people, so friendly, so sweet. I was just going for a walk. I don't feel like it was necessary for me to bring my wallet with me on a walk because I'm the type of person that I lose everything. I'm always dropping things. So I never bring my valuables on walks or runs with me. I guess I'll have to start, which also makes me very nervous because I just don't feel comfortable carrying my passport with me when I'm going on a run. It is what it is. I don't really know how to put an end to this video. I felt like I had to tell this story. So once again, thank you to all my neighbors who actually said something nice or even showed up to show me that they are actually glad I'm here and my being here is not an offense to anybody. A lot of the people in my comments asked me if they could share my story on their Facebook, on their groups, etc. I'm totally fine with that, but I did say on my next door, please just don't share my name, my personal details. I don't feel comfortable with a neighborhood app that has my neighborhood. I just don't feel safe with that. So if you want to share this video instead, please feel free to do so and just spread the word about what's happening. I am so deeply saddened by what took place in Kenosha, Wisconsin a couple days ago, and it's a reality that we're having to deal with, we're having to live through. And this is the reason this country is going through the historical moment it's going through, because of stories like this and people like this. And I obviously can't even compare to half of what happened to that family in Kenosha, but I do understand what it's like to feel so upset and so confused and so like, why me? What have I done? So yeah, just be mindful of that. There's people out there who are going through a lot, and they really do appreciate your help and your support, and that's it. Once again, I'm sorry to my subscribers. I know this is not normally what I post, but it's very, very weird times that I'm living in. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. I love you all so much. We just reached 100 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. It meant so much to me, especially during this week. So thank you so much. Stay safe. Love you all. Mwah.